Totally, that's what we're doing. Hello, everybody. We are live again from vNext in snowy Denver, Colorado. You guys could have not had snow today. The Southern girl would have appreciated it.
That was the one detail we overlooked.
Yeah, forgot to check that box.
Yeah.
Colorado, this time of year, you never know what you're going to get.
I love it. It's every day's an adventure.
It's a box of chocolates.
I do like chocolate.
We have days where it snows and then it's like 80 degrees. It can get nuts.
I'm here for it. But I have gathered the gentlemen that are behind the scenes at vNext to get together and just talk about the conference because I have questions. And
we have answers.
I can't wait. I love it. All my questions will be answered today. The bar is set high now. But I've had the privilege of coming to this conference. Oh, and I think I forgot to introduce myself. I just jumped right in because I just finished another podcast.
It's just comfortable, yeah.
It's just so comfy. But I am Joy Apple. I'm the Director of Success at Orchestra Software. And I've had the pleasure of speaking at this conference for several years now. 4, maybe 5 years, right? It's been fantastic. This very quickly came to the top of my favorite must-do conferences.
Awesome.
Such a good vibe here.
Time flies when you're at the best conference out there. Yeah.
It's the best. Folks, if you haven't been before, next year you've got to be here. So I have questions. And I was surprised you guys hadn't ever gotten together and done one of these podcasts talking about it.
Usually it's too busy for that.
That's fair.
Right?
You
Usually,
are very busy.
It's great. And a lot of work this year went into automating various things, and there's a lot of volunteer effort. So it's making it possible to actually step away and do this.
I love it.
Finally.
Well, thank you. And I know you probably don't want this to drag on forever because there's probably 5 fires.
Yeah, you
you're
got
gonna
3
get to
minutes.
Put out. Go. How did you get here? How did you all know each other? How did it go from? Was it a share pint one day? Was it a, hey, this could be a cool user group?
Yeah.
How did it start?
Go ahead, Josh.
And who are you? And how did it
Yeah,
start?
let's do intros really quick. And so Pat, let's start with you.
I'm Pat Richard. I'm a Teams MVP.
Yep, Josh Blaylock, also Teams MVP, Copilot MVP, and one of the organizers. We're all organizers at the conference. So.
Jonathan McKinney, I'm a Teams MVP. Yeah.
And before I answer the question or jump into that, I'll also say we also have Adam Ball on the organizer team.
Yes.
Unfortunately, he could not join us today. But yeah, this is a group made up of 4 organizing the event. And I guess the original origins of it went from, it was a FOMO moment, to be honest. And we like FOMO moments. We printed a FOMO shirt at one point. And,
I still have my FOMO shirt.
Yeah, I've worn mine a lot. The collar's coming apart now. But it was one year after Ignite, and everybody's kind of riding high from Ignite. You know, it was a good time in Orlando. And I'm watching online as everybody is lamenting the days that were gone of Link Conference in San Diego and all the beauty of that. And I wasn't there for it, right? All my friends in this space that I've been to MVP summits with and knew well, just from content and then interactions online, they all were raving about it. And I just always felt like I missed out on those early days experience. And so I think kind of where it started is one day I reached out to Jonathan and I said, how crazy is it to think about trying to actually remake the magic of what made Link Conference so special?
Yeah, and we just talked about it a little bit, about what it was and what it would take, and then we started bringing others in, and we talked to Adam, and then Pat got involved, and we just mulled around the idea, but I don't think it really came together until we shared the idea with Lori Pottmeyer.
Yeah.
And we figured out, okay, let's do a test.
Yeah. And
See if we can get people into a spot, for one day, how many we can get there and test the idea. And we did that in, I think it was 2018.
It was a kind of a beta conference, if you will, right? We did it one day in a Microsoft office in Denver, which is no longer there, to see.
The Microsoft office is no longer there.
Yes.
Denver's still there.
Thankfully, Denver's here. But yeah, it was just to test. Will people actually show up from around the country? Will they get on planes and come do this? And it was a success. So we decided, hey, let's turn this into a 2-day event, and the rest is history, right?
And go bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think when the 4 of us got together, collectively as MVPs, we all knew each other. We'd all been to dozens, hundreds of conferences and events, and so we knew what we liked as attendees, what we didn't like as attendees, like the food. And And, you know,
Frozen churros at Ignite.
yeah, and
I know.
and things
That's
like
why our churros are so much better.
and things like you know, events that are too big, or whatever the case may be. And we said, you know, we think we can take and cherry pick all of the things that are good about some of these conferences and put them together and make a dedicated conference that isn't going to be real big like Ignite, and bring people together and base it around the community. Everybody is that's involved in this conference. It comes from the community. All the presenters, all the organizers, all the volunteers. This isn't some big corporate event, right? So we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. It's 100% volunteer based, and so we've had kind of this groundswell of growing in the community, and it's worked real well for us.
It has worked real. It's a fantastic event. Josh, you mentioned Link.
Yeah.
So this started out on the communications side of the Microsoft space.
Right.
Now, when I started coming, you all graciously reached out to myself and some other folks on the collaboration side. We're like, hey, we'd like to bring some folks in because you wanted to kind of cover all the bases.
Yeah.
I presume. So there was a perceived gap there, or were you just like, the time is right, or what was the motivation?
So, like you said, very focused conference when we started, really focused on unified communications, specifically in the Microsoft realm. As the platform evolved, as we moved out of Skype for Business into Teams, and Teams became a more expansive platform that touched on so many other parts of the Microsoft cloud and apps, it was clear that there are other integrated components that are relevant to the audiences that were coming.
That's the big part, is the audiences were really driving the content.
Exactly.
You know, these people that had done Link and Skype all of a sudden started gaining new things that they're responsible for. And so because it was, oh, we're in Teams now. Teams also does all these other things. That's why we brought in more content that was SharePoint and OneDrive and all that, because they were becoming responsible for that.
I can tell you, my first night, got in, came downstairs, the pre-registration, and you all were like running around like crazy, getting.
It was a bit messy in the earlier days.
You know, getting network
We're way more
stuff
organized
fixed up.
now.
Yes.
But I started kind of walking through and really looking at everything and talking to the people. Because if you've never been to a community event, run, don't walk to the next one you can go to. Very social, very collaborative. Everybody's so open and friendly. So I'm talking to people. I'm like, wait, why am I here? Hang on. These people don't do, you know, SharePoint intranet.
Yeah.
They don't, this isn't, I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, this is going to be great. It's going to be a growth experience for me because I don't think anyone's going to be interested in my sessions.
Yeah.
I had two, and my rooms were packed, and I was shocked. Like, one was my basic, like, too many options in M365, just level set. And then I did another one on Teams, specifically in information architecture. And I was so confused. I was so confused. I was like, this is not UC.
I mean, I got to be honest. I think we also were like, this is new. Let's see how it goes. Let's see what happens. And we were also pleasantly surprised. Oh, this is the direction. We need to open this up more when we saw that reception.
The conversations were amazing. And it kind of funny because for me, coming from the collaboration side of the world, obviously you start with SharePoint and sites and information architecture and content types and metadata and channels and da-da-da-da-da. People came up after and was like, well, you know, with Teams, obviously you're going to start with calling and devices. And so we've done that very successfully. We're trying to figure out what to do with it next.
Yeah.
So amazing and so enriching and good for me, right? Again, I learned and I grew thinking about those different perspectives that people come to it. So hats off.
It's even more relevant now with how prevalent Copilot is and everything. There's a lot of sessions here that touch on all the various aspects of Copilot as it relates to whatever it is, calling meetings or other parts of M365. And that's just, again, it's the evolution of the platforms that we are fostering content around.
Right.
So, yeah.
So how do you guys decide, like, it's going to be a loop heavy conference? Because the Loop team came one year and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Did the keynote, yep.
Yeah, it was so good. They had that spot set up and we're doing demos for people. or this is going to be AI is going to be the like. How do you decide what you're going to do, how you're going to do it? Does Copilot decide that for you now?
Yeah, we type into Copilot every year. I'm just kidding.
It's
Copilot build comms vNext this year.
Yeah,
No.
give us the plan.
we are 4 peers. There's no real hierarchy in our group, right? So we get together, we decide, when we're going to open the call for speakers, and we see what comes in, and we look through it, and for the most part, I don't think we've ever looked at a session and said, "No, that's really not what we're after." It's tough every year. We get 100 sessions that get submitted, and it's hard to pick and choose through them. And so we try to have a well-rounded schedule. But if it's a bunch of loop stuff, it's because a lot of people submitted loop content for sessions, and we're all open for that. We'll consider just about anything, and we pick and choose, and as well as trying to make sure that we give everybody a chance to speak. New people that haven't spoken at our event before, as well as some of the more popular names.
I think that's one of the things that I'm really proud of about the event is that we do try to bring in recognized names, MVPs, subject matter experts, people from Microsoft, but we also are very careful to give a lot of opportunities people that are just coming to speak for the first time or putting their hand up and saying, okay, I'll try. The man behind all this gear right here, Eric Marcy, I remember the first time he presented he was so nervous on stage, weren't you, Eric? Yeah.
Actually,
shaking his head back there.
he thought he was nervous, but he hit it out of the ballpark.
He nailed it.
course
And he's
he
been back since doing amazing sessions, and we see that over and over again. So many new speakers come through, and it's a little nerve-wracking at first, and then they just find out this is awesome, partially because of what you said. That community is so welcoming. Yep. They get in a room and they're having a conversation, and it's just not a big, scary thing. So, yeah.
It is interesting in the M365 community. MVP Summit just a couple of months ago, my Uber driver was dropping me off at the whatever building now for that morning, and he was like, "Oh my goodness, all these people, what is happening?" I was like, "Well, this is the one time of year that most of us get to see our friends that live in the other part of the world."
Yep.
And I feel like every conference feels like that. It's you get to see your friends that live in Colorado. Actually, Ruth Shire, who is a rock star volunteer
He's awesome, yeah.
every year for this conference, she lives 90 minutes from me. We see each other once a year, Denver, Colorado. We did do a pinky swear this year. We're going to be seeing each other more.
Try to, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because
Makes
that's
sense.
silly, right? But you get to see that community, and it's so welcoming. But I think the organizers' personas influence the tone, too. So I think that speaks very well to you guys.
Well, I think as MVPs, the community, like the team's MVPs, which all 3 of us are, we know all the team's MVPs, right? We're a close-knit group. And so, we reach out to those people, and they have a following. They know other MVPs, or they have people in the communities that want to see them. And you hit it right on the head. You only sometimes get to see people once a year, but people come from everywhere.
Yeah.
We had somebody from Egypt one year. We have people from Mexico, tons of people from the EU, Canada, everything that come in and get that once a year exposure and social networking, which is one of the top goals of our event is allowing people to talk to everybody else that is attendees, be able to talk to the speakers, whatever the case may be. It's all about bringing everybody together and helping share information.
It is almost turning into an MVP summit that isn't an MVP summit.
Yeah.
It's a gathering of technical people that see each other once a year, and it's very similar to what we do at the MVP summit.
Mm-hmm. I think we've hit on a few things, but one of the questions I was going to ask you guys is what do you feel really does set Comms vNext apart from other community conferences? Because it is different. You guys have really built something special here. The sense of community absolutely is. The focus, I'm not sure if it feels accurate to say that, but there's definitely a team's focus here. But now with AI and some of the other products, that everything comes into Teams, right? And all that content goes to SharePoint. But it's definitely a central theme here. What else sets this conference apart?
Probably the biggest one is the churros. That's
Churros people.
I mean, every year we brag about the food here because everyone usually likes the food here. We wanted to avoid box lunch culture completely.
We would have a right if the churros weren't here.
Exactly, it would be a revolt. But it goes back to some of the earlier comments on what we intended. We wanted to build a conference where when you walk through the expo floor, every solution in there is relevant to what you do. Right, it touches what you're doing in some way. If I walk through the full expo floor of a very large conference, I'm having to wade through a sea of stuff that I just need to filter out, try to ignore. It's a lot of visual noise and audible noise, and I need to go hunt down the specific, solution providers that have what I want. And it's the same with the people I'm networking with. Almost anyone I could walk up to and talk to is going to be relevant to what I do. So it's a new friend, but it's also someone who is relevant to the industry I'm working in. And it's just, you don't have to wade through the sea of ambiguity. It's all focused on what we're here for.
I often refer to it as everybody speaks the same tech language. Mm-hmm. Wow. We all have our terms and acronyms and everything else, and sometimes they get reused. But when you work around a set of products and you have somebody else that works around the set of products, you guys can speak the same language, share the same stories. You may have a problem, and this person may have some ideas on how you can attack it different. It's hard to do that at a bigger conference that has a wider audience. To find those people to have those conversations.
I think that when I became an MVP, I was an Exchange MVP, and Exchange was a very siloed product. And as time has gone by, we get into OCS and Link and Skype for Business. The lines are being blurred now where we get to Teams. I refer to it as the gateway drug to Office 365, right? Because there's all these other things that get connected to it, SharePoint and OneDrive and everything. So instead of having a very compartmentalized event, now we're bringing in all these other people because they straddle those fences with Teams. Somebody might be a SharePoint dev, not really a Teams person, but because the two play together now, they kind of have to be in both worlds. Yeah. And so, Copilot, perfect example, all the functionality that is in Teams built on Copilot, now we have to, just to survive, our event has to look at all these different things and say, well, we can't just be so narrow focused with blinders on that we limit things to just Teams, because this event wouldn't survive after a few years.
I mean, the reality of the UC space is you used to have people that 100% they're just focused on SBCs, configuration, and that these days that's part of what they have to be focused on. But they now have to spill into the other parts of Teams.
Yeah.
And the conference reflects that, right? So.
Well, and again, from my perspective, most of my customers, I'm talking with them about governance in Microsoft 365, lifecycle management, archiving, security, permissions, good stuff like that. But once they've gotten that successfully set up and things are going really well there, that next conversation is, have you adopted Teams calling?
Yeah.
Right? What does that look like? Do you have meeting rooms? Because you're already paying for that product, right? And there's some additional licensing, of course, and setup.
Yeah.
But they've built such a beautiful product. Why would you not bring it all under that one? So I tell my customers, it's like, if you're ready to go to that next step with Teams, this is where you should send your Teams admins or whoever's in charge of your devices and calling. They need to come here and learn.
It's even beyond like Copilot in general, even just beyond Teams. If you are adopting a Copilot strategy and you're now looking at all these points of collaboration and interaction in your organization as data points that has governance and adoption issues with it, everything you say in a meeting room is a data point. Everything that happens on a call is a data point. That involves not just the software and platform solution. It involves hardware. It involves a whole number of things. And so, yeah, all that stuff ends up being in focus for this event, because it's just Copilot is really, as much as Teams was spreading a little bit of our focus and attention, Copilot's opening those doors even wider.
Totally. Yeah.
So.
And you mentioned, you should have your Teams admin come to this event. We want everybody to come, whether you're an IT pro, whether you're a decision maker, whether you're an end user, whatever the case may be, everybody can benefit from the content that happens at our event. So it's not targeted just to the decision makers who are signing the checks or whatever the case may be.
It's not a sales pitch.
Right. It's not a sales pitch. Right.
Yep.
And that goes back to your earlier question about what sets us apart. Honestly, the content is one of the huge things that sets us apart, because you go to some events and you expect to be marketed at when you step into that room, and none of this is that at all. This is all the real world solutions. I had someone come up to me the other day and tell me all about the session they just stepped out of, where someone was literally showing how they hacked a Microsoft Teams, and it was a whole security session, but they were like going through
you could
real
grab a
world
token. Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome to hear that. They came out of a session excited about it, and so it's real world stuff.
Yeah. Well, and I'm excited, like for my session this afternoon, one of them is they call it soft skills, but I like how Caruana calls it a power skill. It's basically a session about requirements and building a relationship between IT and the business. And that session is designed, and I always ask the question right off the bat, who's here IT? Who is here is in the business? Who here walks both, and you're on your little own personal version of hell trying to live in both worlds?
Well, part of that is doing a translation between their different languages.
Absolutely.
Right? You have to understand what the business person language, the IT language, and be able to translate.
Yeah. And you have to learn how to not solution immediately. That's hard for me. I'm a fixer. I am a solutioner. But to ask questions before you go, you need to be able to collaborate. You ever tried making a phone call? Done. You can collaborate. Go on about your business. Right? But no, it's not what I meant. Right? I have to ask questions. And I think as technologists, we have to remember we have to ask questions.
Listen.
Yeah. It's tempting to skip over the discovery phase and go straight toward the solution. But
That's the fun part.
You're like, I've seen this 10 times. I know what to do.
I got it. Step back.
You have email. Go forth and prosper.
Jonathan mentioned, this isn't a sales pitch, and we make a big effort to make sure that's true. When we open the call for speakers, we make it very clear you're not coming in here and talking about what your company does. You can come in and talk about, hey, I solved this issue, I architected this solution, but you're not hanging your banner in the room. We have 55 breakout sessions at this event. We allow 5 of those to be sponsor led. Nothing else. You're not coming in here as a representative of your company. You're coming in here as somebody that deals with these products and to share your knowledge with everybody else. One of the things that we see when you go to Ignite or some of these bigger ones is it tends to be a top-down thing where it's a bunch of people from the vendor saying, this is how it's been designed.
Right.
Our conference is people up on the behind the lectern saying, this is how it works in the real world. Right. This is the problems that we're coming across, and here's how we solve it.
Sometimes you don't even know you have the problem until you hear the guys speaking about it. Like, oh, that's it.
Yep.
Better. Oh crap! I didn't know that could happen.
Yeah.
Or I've had this problem. I didn't know what it was, but he just described it.
Or I didn't know we could do that.
Yeah.
So building on top of that, for folks that are going to watch this, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I have got to go to vNext next year." What's the advice to say? Come on, take part, get involved. This is how you're going to make the most out of your experience. What would that advice be?
Well, for starters, check us out on LinkedIn. Head out to commsvnext.com and get a look at what the show looks like on a website basis. But follow us on LinkedIn. We try to be pretty regular with content and interacting with people. We like to share community type of things out there. So that's where you can get a feel for us and start to get plugged in. We've got opportunities as well for people on the site to kind of start to connect with us early, get it on mailing lists so that we can reach out to them with announcements of when we announce the next date and when we announce call for speakers and all those good things. So that would be the starting point.
Okay.
And then, beyond that, as you plan out your trip and you get ready to come, we do a lot of content leading up to the event that is focused on sharing what that experience is like, tips and tricks from people that have been there before and done that before. So that's a great way to stay tuned in and be like, here's what I'm going to expect when I go. But just come ready to learn, ready to meet people, come with an open mind. That's what we're all about.
I think that's the big one, is that people really enjoy the networking aspect.
Yeah.
So when you walk in that door, people come in on Monday and you're just filled with a room of people that are just chit-chatting. Go around, sit down, talk to people. Like this isn't a bunch of cliques of people. As you watch them, you'll see them bumping around to each other,
Yeah.
and just be prepared to talk to anyone. And this is a very welcoming community, you know.
We actually had was one of the things I really liked this about our conference following COVID. When we came back as a conference in person, we were one of the first to do it. One of the first to open doors back up, and we're like, this is gonna be a ride. It's gonna be weird, but we're gonna broach the subject and we're gonna get into it. And the theme of that conference was reconnect. Right? We labeled it Comms vNext Reconnect, and I loved watching how tight that community actually was when our keynote included things that were not necessarily technical topics. They were human connection topics.
How do you connect with somebody after you've been torn apart for 6 months?
Yeah.
Right?
Which is not
How
something
do you
expect
begin
at
to do that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You don't expect that kind of thing at a conference. But it was a good reflection of who we are and who the people are that come to this, why they come to it, and what's important to them. At the center of it all is a lot of humans that are connecting and just glad to have a place where they can come and be on the same plane together, speak the same tech language, and catch up with friends after a year, right? So.
And I think, Reconnect is a great example, but also what did you learn from this experience of having to work from home, right? How did you communicate? How did you utilize these products? I don't think anybody really figured that would happen, and there were a lot of lessons learned. I know as a solutions architect, the phone was ringing off the hook about how do we send all our people home and still allow them to work.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of people coming back saying, here's one of the issues that we ran into. We suddenly, we had a telephone solution that didn't support people for working from home, and we had to pivot and, talking through those lessons. And I think it really helped those others that were here at the event.
I remember that one conference, the Reconnect conference, and you guys were very thoughtful and very intentional because, was it the color-coded lanyards?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? It was
They
like
had the stickers on the
stickers. Yeah.
stickers on
Yep.
them.
Red
So it
and
was
green.
like green if you're like, give me a
do
hug.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a hug. I've
Yeah.
missed people. And then like other colors, just like elbow bump is fine.
Yeah.
Right? Because we all came out of it with different levels of comfort of
Yeah.
how we're getting back in. And again, that was early days of let's get back to the real world. And just walking down, everybody had like as much green as they could put on, right? Because
I
they
know.
wanted all the hugs.
That was surprising
great.
too. As an organizer, you're like, how is this gonna unfold?
Right.
Are we gonna have this big mix of people, and let's make it simple, let's make it easy. It's almost like a Brazilian steakhouse, with the green, red. But it's like, I could not believe how much green there was. People
Yeah.
were just eager to reconnect as human beings again, and that really it's at the heart of this conference. So I loved that year.
We try to be thoughtful about the possibilities, but we never know what people are going to do with it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that's every year. We always have something we're doing or some craziness that we plan, and we're not quite sure how it's going to go.
I think that's one of your catchphrases, Jonathan. Is I've got a crazy idea. We got to wade through those crazy ideas. And
Then I floated with these guys, and sometimes it doesn't float very well.
but
Gotta have a
sometimes it
crazy
does.
idea guy, though,
Yeah.
right? That's half
You
the
do.
fun.
You do.
But
the fun.
in our group, you might have a crazy idea, and we may say, that's really not the best. But since 2018, we've never had an argument. We work really well as peers. I think everybody kind of came into the group, said, yeah, let's do this, and then kind of found their niche as to what their role would be within the group, right? And brings ideas to the table, and we talk to each other as peers. We don't have somebody dropping a hammer saying, no, we're not doing that. Say, well, maybe this won't work, or think about it this way, or whatever, and it's worked really well with our group. And it's really helped us survive and thrive. Crazy ideas, right? We all have them, and we've done really well with making them all work together.
Now, one crazy idea that did almost close to a fight that was when I came back. I had missed one meeting, and I come back and they had decided we're going to do lime green organizer T-shirts that year. And I'm like, what were you guys thinking?
He got
I
outvoted.
just had to let it go. I wore them. I wore the T-shirts.
3 to 4.
Yeah, they're now my oil changing rags.
That's a bold choice.
It was.
It was bold. We wanted to be noticed.
Did it work?
It did. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it did.
You guys do great with the shirts, though. As a female in IT, I appreciate the women's sizing for the
Yep.
shirts. I really, really do. In fact, you guys have reached out in the past and been like, okay, pick a women's shirt. Like, what do we do? Because
Yeah.
that's tricky.
Yeah.
It is. You don't want to make assumptions there, and you
Don't wanna
run
make
into different
assumptions.
preferences and things.
One year we made a choice where it was kind of low cut, and we got some
It was
feedback.
a very deep V.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can't always tell
Wait,
from the
we
pictures.
didn't think
until you
about
got
that.
it,
It was
you
a
know.
ladies' cut.
Yeah. And it was.
In 2018, none of us were event planners.
Yeah.
And so we started this, and we're still learning as we go along. So we don't really have a ton of experience about picking T-shirts, right? We just,
Right.
okay, well, what about this? And some ideas work, some of them not so much. But we're learning as we go along. Every year we gain more and more insight into how to put on one of these events and how to make it better for the following year.
We love feedback,
Yeah.
good and
Yes.
bad.
Yep.
And we listen to it all.
Yes.
Important. Yeah.
But I'll give you a fun fact as it relates to this.
I love fun facts.
All right. Fun fact. What do you think is the thing that we spend the most time and length in threads on Teams talking and debating and going back and forth on every year?
Oh, geez.
The hint is we just talked about it.
Is it the T-shirt
It's
design?
it's the T-shirts.
Yep.
You guys do great T-shirts.
With this year being the exception, typically we go back and forth, and you scroll and you scroll.
Hundreds
and
of
it's crazy.
messages. Yeah.
This year, Jonathan's like, I have an idea. What do you think? And we were all like, we love it. Let's do it. And that was kind of a miracle moment.
It was a couple different versions, but it was pretty quick on this one.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah.
But that's.
But
no
yeah,
one would- no one
we've
would think
had
that,
some
right?
very, very long threads and very many, especially around colors. So Josh and
Yes.
Adam are colorblind in different ways. And so colors that look good for Pat and I, we're like, oh, yeah, that's great. They're like, oh,
No.
why would you do that?
So it's just a challenge.
It is.
But you embrace it, and you do great. I still have my FOMO shirt. Was it last year or the year before? It was the Hey Co-Pilot Create a
last year,
Conference.
yeah.
Yeah. So epic shirts. Where do you want to go next? Like, what do you think will be a fun, crazy idea next for Columns vNext?
Well, I've said from day one, and I tell these guys at least once a year, I want to get to San Diego. So
Link conference.
Link conference.
That's always been the big goal.
Yeah, the original Link conference, the big event, the one that all the kind of old timers like me talk about. That was an epic event at an epic venue.
It was at the Hotel Coronado
Yep.
on the beach.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a fabulous event, and I think that if we were able to get back to that, that would be the measure of pure success. Mainly because it was a big event. There was 1,000 people there or whatever, which is more than what we draw, but just a fabulous event. And so that is my goal.
Okay.
It may never happen, but it's something that that I aspire to. So I have a punch list just from the last 4 days of things for next year. It has more than 70 items on it already. And some of them are little trivial things. Some of them are big. And hey, we didn't think about this, or we should do this differently. But I think the game plan is not going to change drastically. We're going to look and say, how does the product evolved? How has the industry evolved? How has conferencing evolved? Right? What have we seen from all these different events that we've been to recently? Josh has been to a number of them, and what are some of the takeaways that came from those events, and how can we leverage them in our own event?
Yeah, I think like Pat said, it's the concept, the idea doesn't change drastically anywhere in the near future. As far as location goes, I'm not sure it'll be San Diego anytime soon, but I think that the location is always a topic of conversation after we finish in a year. We continue to come back to the same spot the last several years, but that is always the conversation that comes up. So who knows, maybe one year there's a surprise there.
If we outgrow this, then we have other things we thought of, but we've got to outgrow this venue, I think, before we go somewhere else. So
I will say one thing I love about this venue, other than the food, is it facilitates those between session conversations so very well.
Yeah.
And the upstairs, like the bar lounge area.
Right.
It is funny, like came in from the MVP dinner, and I literally walked through like this because there were like 6 different groups of people that I wanted to go talk to so very much, but I also needed to prep 2 sessions for today.
Yeah.
So I was like, they're like, no, I don't see you, I don't see you. Right?
Yeah.
It really facilitates
It does.
community.
It
Yeah,
does.
and a lot of conferences, the conference is somewhere else other than where people are staying, so you have to always arrange these other places to meet, whereas naturally you just have places to meet here.
Yeah, it's great.
We take over the whole place.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. All right. What's your number one thing that you're like, that's worth it? Because I know so much work goes. People don't see the blood, sweat, and tears behind the scenes. You know, they come to a conference and the food is great, and the tech and the rooms works, and there's good content. There's a great expo hall. What makes putting all that together worth it end of the day?
I've mentioned humanity a couple times and just the people-centric nature of the conference, and I think that's what bubbles to the surface for me. I walk onto the expo floor in the midst of it getting built up or torn down, and I see sponsor right here who directly competes with sponsor right here coming over to lend a hand with that big heavy item and just help them get their stuff done, and meeting in the middle and just talking, right? They put aside the competition and they just chat together and help each other out. And I love that. I love that about the event. You see that all across it, people just being human beings to each other. For me, as I sit back in those few moments where I'm not putting out a fire and I just kind of observe what's going on around me, I'm like this, watching the people connect the way they do is just that's what makes it worth it to me.
I do it to have people come. Like, Denver's my home city, so I'm bringing all my friends to my home city. So I actually, beyond the conference, I sometimes will take people to various different places around the city that I enjoy too. So I just love the people aspect of it, and that makes me really happy.
I think it's the feedback too, right? We talk to a lot of people while we're here. We see some of the same people come year after year. Like you, we see some of the same sponsors coming in year after year. So it's obviously been beneficial for them. We see the comments that get socialized that say, hey, this was a great event. I learned so much. I was able to, solve problem X, Y, or Z, or meet with vendors that will help me in my day-to-day life. That to me, as MVPs, it's all about the community, right? It's helping that community. And that's my takeaway is I get to see, was it beneficial for people? I know when I see them back here the next year.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. You don't go back to a conference if it wasn't beneficial to you.
Right.
And, we run stats about, the percentage of people that this is their first time attending our event versus people who've been here in the past. And we watch those numbers and things like that. And it's good to see those numbers grow.
And this year, a third of the people here are new.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I have to say, it breaks stereotypes. I think when people from the outside look in at a technology conference and they hear the emphasis on people, connections, people, growth, learning. So I really love that. You guys set the bar high for a lot of different conferences and events. And as a member of the community and as a speaker that has come here for several years and will always do everything I can to make sure I get to come back every year. Thank you for what you do. We see you. We really appreciate you bringing this conference to Denver every year.
Well, and thank you for what you do in helping socialize our event and attending it every year and sharing your knowledge.
That's the best thing that we could say is if you love this conference, tell others about it.
Yep.
And we were also thrilled to see company you work for come and participate in sponsoring
Yeah.
this
Me
year.
too.
So thank you to Orchestrate for being a sponsor this year as well. But thank you for all you do. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us today. It was kind of fun to take a break from the floor and just hash through this.
We mentioned Orchestra, but all of our sponsors make it
100%.
possible. Like,
You have a great expo hall.
None of us are
Everybody's
paid,
great.
and we try to keep the costs low. Sometimes people wonder, why do you not charge as much as other conferences as well? Well, we don't need to. Like, we can do it all for a lot less. We do a lot of hard work, put hours in, do all of our own graphics. Pat does all of our own AV tech. Like, we keep all of our costs low. We have a lot of sweat equity, but we just don't we don't pay a whole AV crew to do stuff, so we don't have to charge $1,000 or $2,000 a ticket. So, yeah. So, but yeah, it helps if people talk about us and share with your friends and customers and whoever you work with. So,
Yeah. Huge thank you to you for taking the time to do this, to socialize it, and all the other people in the community that come here and help socialize it. It means a ton to us. So thank you.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you guys. I know, again, you've probably got some new fires that have sprung up. So that, and I think they're putting lunch out, so it's going to get loud here in a minute.
Yes, it is.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Troy.
Thank you.
thank you.